What are you? What the fuck happened? Are you fucking Dracula right now?
Okay. Caralho. Welcome to wow, just a gala affair we have tonight. It's
The stars are really out right now.
This is true. This is the Vale Tudo Hour with Renato Laranja. Love letter to Chancel Chow. This is
cinema.
This is to the cinema. And we here. I can't hear my. Turn me up in there. Hello. Okay.
No, I can hear you.
That's a little bit, but I like to hear myself a little more. Yeah. That's more like it. Okay. So we here, and we celebrating. It's obviously the night of nights, the night of stars, the Oscars, and all of that kind of stuff. But some of you guys who's not more into the Oscars, and you
well, let's just be honest. The Oscars are chump stuff, right? That's what you watch, the Oscars. But
that's
we're here
to
exactly. And so me and my friend here, Master Hanach, we're here to talk about the true gems of the silver screen.
And before I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my illustrious co-host that we have today. Is none other than the one and only. They call him the babyface assassin.
Yeah, well,
they used to. They call him the War Machine.
Yep. What? Maybe not machine.
Oh, the War Master.
Well, you know what? Machines and assassins are going to come into play.
We're going to get to that, my brother. They call him the Master Killer, the what is it? The killing machine?
The anal violator?
No, what's the other one?
Oh, Death Machine.
Yeah, now they're going to be, after this episode, they're going to be calling him the Death Machine.
I'll take it.
But for now, you just need to know him as Josh Barnett. Okay, so let me just start with the reason why I could have had anybody here, obviously, to talk to me.
Sure?
Yeah.
Because I'm a lot closer than most people, I think.
Listen, it's easy for me to get a heat placement for you at this point. So now I'm I could have had a lot of guys here. I could have had anybody I want.
But you would have liked that.
But I chose
a lot of guys.
Well, now that's a different kind of cinema we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, everybody gets a happy ending.
So, but I chose to have Josh Barnett because he's out of all the fight I know, he's the only guy who kind of knows movies like your Uncle Hanach know movies. He know a lot more movies than the average Joe, and a lot more than that kind of stuff's the normal shit that most people know. You know?
Right, and you'd be surprised that I find and have found the time to watch such quality elements of cinema. You just open a Four Loko?
No, it's just a sparkling water.
You think I should be training my fighters or doing all that kind of stuff, maybe, calling the action for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but instead, I'm sitting around with my thumb up my ass watching some of the greatest. You hear that?
Yeah, I heard
There's
that.
a rumbling.
There is a rumbling.
There is a storm a-coming, and it is fantastic
is that
cinema.
You? Was that you, or that was a Juhan?
That's Rudy.
That was my dog is here. He's blaming shit on the dog now. My dog is laying there peacefully on the expensive Persian hug that I provide.
Well,
that we provide to you.
A very expensive Persian rug. This Brother Thelonious beer right now. I mean, it's
we try to treat the guests nice, and it's a celebration tonight. This is
absolutely it's a fine gala.
The town is a buzz right now, and everybody's talking about the Vale Tudo Hour of Renato Laranja,
yes.
And a lot of people has been waiting for this night. The fans out there.
It's been a whole year, and it has culminated to this moment for you and me to talk about the more wonderful elements of cinema, of silver screen, of fine movies.
Yeah. So we here. We about to talk about some of the great movies. I got my brother here, Josh Barnett. He got a fucking what is this? Like a corduroy, like a brown corduroy tuxedo.
Very much so. With I've got a one of those admiral's jackets right now.
God, you look like a Captain Crunch.
But indeed, who doesn't love cereal?
I tell you, you also look like Jeff Daniel from Term of Endearment.
Or at least from Starman.
Either one.
Oh, wait, no, he wasn't in that one.
No, that's Jeff Bridges.
Was Jeff Bridges.
God, now we already fucking up the movies.
That's okay. I like John Carpenter anyways.
I forgot that John Carpenter did that. You know what, my brother? Johan, I need my phone. Bring to me my phone.
It's the one with the rotary dial.
Oh, God. Okay. Thank you, my brother.
No, you didn't get any Tinder matches.
Oh, you want to bet? You know, speaking of Tinder, before we get on,
speaking of
Tinder, before we get on there, Josh
every
Barnett,
girl on Tinder is a vegan yogi, gluten-free.
If only that was the only problem. Here's what one of my pet peeves.
Skydives, jumps up in the air on a beach.
That's one. Every one of them jump ankles to heels to ass, jumping up into the fucking air.
Skydiving.
Yeah. Then we skydiving.
Doing a yoga pose somewhere.
Yeah, doing a yoga pose. What's one of the other shit? What's the quote? What's a quote that you see?
If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
That's a charitable one. What's one of the other fucking one that they like to put?
Quote-wise, I can't think of much. However, my favorite is the constant photos of piles of women all lined up like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, that's another thing. Oh, women out there. I know you're trying to think that if you stand next to a woman that's better look than you, that somehow you're going to get some of her look is going to hub off, or you're going to equal something. You're going to form each other like Voltron or something like that.
Yeah, we basically just judge you on your ugliest friend. Yeah, and figure that's you.
What happened is that we're going to go, fuck, I wish I could talk to the other one. And we don't have any way to do that, except what we're going to do is we're going to go on you Instagram me, and we're going to see on the Instagram if you tag that girl, and then we're just going to follow that girl.
How inventive.
Okay,
technology presents all kinds of interesting problems, and yet human ingenuity always seems to find a solution.
That's true. And what's the other fucking thing they always say? Oh, if they like a book, none of these chicks heed books. I mean, most of them don't, at least in LA.
Okay.
But if they do, what book they always fucking every dummy.
The Alchemist?
God damn it, you fucking know exactly.
Oh, the fucking moron's guide to philosophy.
How did he knew that I was going to say that? And we didn't plan that. And I've actually had that book, and it didn't do what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to change my life.
You haven't willed it all in?
It was supposed to do alchemy to my life.
I'm sure it was. It's supposed to turn your turds into gold.
It was, yeah.
Instead, here we are.
Yeah, instead we're sitting over here. Doing a gala affair in fucking East Hollywood above a weed dispense.
No, that could be seen as fortuitous depending on who you're talking to.
That's
true.
But
tonight we are going to think of it as educating the broad, huddled, flea-ridden masses.
We're gonna do that,
and we're gonna bring them into cinema verite. Excellence of film and true classics of the silver screen.
The greatest.
Right. The things that the Oscars are just far too intimidated to really approach.
It's too mainstream. It's like if you're going to... Nobody looks to the Grammys to find out what's the albums they should listen to. I mean, I don't know. Do you know anybody that go, oh, that's the best rap album of the year? I should pick that one up. Or that's the best heavy metal album? What they gave to Aqualung or whatever. Or what's
Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
But wasn't even for Aqualung, which is a great album by Jethro Tull.
Okay, but it was the other one.
Jethro Tull. And they beat out Metallica that year, the Black Album.
And that's the same stuff's what, black metal?
Black metal is a little different.
That's not the same with African American?
Well, I mean, maybe the band, there is a band called Black Death. That is all black. And there's also Richard Pryor's little skit, if we can remember that.
Wait, which one?
You've never seen... Okay.
Richard
Pryor has a great skit where he comes out and he plays... It's some sort of Kiss-inspired Kiss, Black Sabbath inspired metal music, and he comes out in big platform boots, and he never
Are you
really
for
even
fucking heel?
No,
Wait, he
I'm
did
not
this on his.
This is on the
you
Richard
remember
Pryor
he had
show.
That's the show.
Yeah,
he
and
had
he
on
comes out,
like
he's
NBC.
like, hooga booga, hooga booga ooga, and then he just throws drugs all over the crowd, and then gasses them and kills everybody.
See, that show never got a chance. You know, they clipped that thing after like only
Clipped
a
its
few
wings,
episodes.
didn't want it to fly.
They
didn't want it to fly.
They for you, it was too much for those guys.
Not surprised.
Yeah. Fuck. Imagine. God, are you? We're gonna.
A brilliant man.
He was one of the great.
You can.
Richard Pryor.
It's really rare that you could set a man on fire by doing drugs, and he's still hilarious.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Carry me back to old Virginia, Lord! Oh shit!
All right, we bad.
Yeah,
we bad.
I love
we
that.
Bad.
That fucking movie. You know what? God, are you that
One of my students loves Silver Streak, by the way.
Silver Streak's great. But
Guess which student it is? Because you've met many of my fighters and athletes.
oh, you mean Alyssa?
Yeah,
She loves Silver Streak.
Silver Streak.
Better than Stir Crazy.
I've never asked her.
Crazy.
I've never asked her to make a choice between the two. Although it's in Silver Streak where he's got Gene Wilder in the bathroom and he's trying to teach him
How to be black. Yeah, yeah, and he put the fucking shoe polish or whatever on his face.
Fucking terrible.
I mean, that
awesome.
movie. When you see that movie,
the two of them is just magic on screen.
The chemistry between them is great, but that movie don't age as well as Stir Crazy. Stir Crazy still hold up.
That scene where they end up in the jail cell with the giant guy.
With
Erwin
Grossberger.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he
sing that song. He
cuddles
have the
him up
voice
and
of an
starts singing.
angel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
Yeah, when
movie. You know what's another one that holds up is since we're speaking about the comedy duo Gene Wilder and
Yes.
Richard Pryor is See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
that was the last good one. That was like just the very last where you could accept that. You know, like when I
was a kid, I did like The Toy, although that didn't.
But that's
involve
way.
them both. But yeah,
the Troy was way before.
that was like Brewster's Millions, Toy.
Brewster's Millions was great. If you watch the Troy now, holy shit! I mean, I own the Troy, but I use it as it's like a piece of Americana, like having a old wooden box that have like a Sambo character with stealing a watermelon. You know what I mean? It's
Being
like
chased by a tiger.
You have it like ironically. You don't have it because you're like, you know what, kids?
That also shows you how little that America actually knew anything about anyone in Africa. Is like there's no tigers that are going to chase you. In Africa.
There's somebody that's going to chase you once you came from Africa. They're going to chase.
Yeah.
They're going to chase.
Yeah, well, it's just they had those sheets and they were wet and they needed to dry them off, so they wanted to run around the neighborhood, right?
You know, what a great. What a great, this is already checking off into a positive direction.
Oh man! But you're right about the toy. Jackie Gleason.
By the way, it's very entertaining. I mean, if for you fans of the Vale Tudo Hour, I don't have a name for you guys yet. I mean, I call my disciples. I call them Laranjinos.
Yeah, Laranjinos.
I call them that, but maybe. Organically, we're gonna have something, for the Vale Tudo Hour, but
the unemployed, the stoned,
right now your stock is going down amongst my minion is gonna everywhere. We our channel.
All right,
you know what?
All right, hey,
okay,
this goes out to you guys. I'm real sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings.
You're gonna live to regret this, Josh Barnett.
Oh, you say live to? Huh?
You're living through it right now.
Yeah, well, I don't have to wait long for that.
Listen, my brother. This is going to rejuvenate your career.
I can only imagine the heights it's going to take me.
Well, it can't get much worse.
That's true.
So where were we? We was talking about Stir Crazy.
We were.
Real quick, Stir Crazy was actually. Do you actually know who fucking direct Stir Crazy?
Lawrence Kasdan.
One Sidney Poitier, and I swear to God.
They call me Mr. Director.
They call me Mr. Chib.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people might not know that because you don't necessarily think of
They
screwball
call
comedy.
you Mr. Doesn't Pay Child Support.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hopefully
If
they lose
called
my
you
number.
something that long.
They lose my number when they call me. Hopefully. Okay, so now I want to delve into. So you being one of the people that I know that's really a movie buff and a movie head. You're one of these guys that I know knows film, and I know you're bona fides when it comes to being a cinephile. Okay, so,
I didn't realize you watched me when I was at home by myself.
No, not
with
the
my bona
not the
fides.
boner feedings. I don't want to see none of that one. You do that on your own time here. Before we get into anything having to do with any other movies or anything, because put that shit down. We're not even there yet. God damn you. Your brain power. I want it for this now. Okay, so
extract it like a fucking gelfling from the Dark Crystal.
That's another thing, the Gelf. But let's not get off onto the Dark Crystal yet. So
you're not into dark crystals?
No,
What's wrong with dark crystals?
Well,
do you have a problem with dark crystals?
No, African American crystal. Okay, so when did you first start to really get into movies and be like, okay, I like to watch. I'm a fucking movie person. You know what I mean? Because surprisingly, I think that everybody's like me and you, and then somebody go, I don't remember movies. I would never watch a movie twice. You know, like I don't understand that.
Sure, no, I hear you. And there's
then,
movies that are challenging that people will watch, and they just way over their head. They hate everything about it.
What first made you? What age? What was like the first movie that you remember going to that like blew your mind, or even the first movie you remember? What's the first movie you ever remember you went to?
That's a good question, and it's actually interesting that you mentioned it because I did see The Dark Crystal in the theaters, which it did.
That wasn't your first movie.
Blow my fucking mind.
It blew your mind.
As a kid, I was taken to that. I saw Fantasia on a run in the early '80s. And
I remember seeing Fantasia in the theater
Here's
too.
something about drive-ins used to obviously exist, where people would drive their car up, park it. There's a massive screen, and they would either dial their radio into a certain station.
I never knew that aspect of it.
But that was later on. But then before that, it was you grab the little mic, the mic thing, and you would hook it up inside, or the speaker, and put it inside your car, hook it into your car. Or there was also a clip to your antenna. I've seen that one too. And then you dial the radio.
So you went to these?
Yeah. Well, my parents would drive me.
In the city, they didn't have that shit.
Well, it's funny. Well, I would see. So, where you grew up in the favelas and in the Amazon jungle.
You had never too much the jungle here, but we was in the city. You know, you had to find a ways to see movie any way you can.
Hang a sheet. And get out the 8mm.
Wow. Or you're gonna see at your cousin's house, or you're gonna you can sneak to the movies. There was a lot of ways that we saw the movie anyway.
Well, and I mean, there were other big city environments like, in New York, 42nd Street was just filled full of old movie theaters.
That's true.
So that I would know from watching movies like The Exterminator. But
The Exterminator is another one with your boy, what's his name?
Robert Ginty.
Robert Ginty.
Yeah, we were real tight.
Robert Ginty also from the movie White Fire. But we'll get into that
I don't
later.
think I'm allowed to watch the movie White Fire.
I think you are.
I mean, there's...
Are you going to see the movie White Fire?
I haven't seen it, but just
my brother,
due to the font and the name of the movie alone, it looks like, don't watch this.
No, it's good. It's good. You're going to see White Fire.
Well, he has a chainsaw.
I have, yes.
With an extremely long bar on it, which makes it even more badass. So
yeah, and he cut up some people with that. But just like The Exterminator 2 or whatever, they focus on that in the poster, but the amount of time he used the chainsaw,
the old bait and switch.
Yeah, the amount of time he used the chainsaw, it's not that much the movie.
We come from an era where the covers of movies did look
a lot better than the fucking movies, and also books was like that too. You have a Frank Frazetta, they slap that onto the cover of some piece of shit book that's not even anywhere near how good.
Although you bring up Frank Frazetta covers, makes me think of Conan books, which are great.
Great, no, but that's different. But
sure,
but they
and
would
Michael
do that.
Whelan for Michael Moorcock Elric movies.
Caralho, Moorcock.
Well, I know you don't need more cock. You got enough as it is.
The less cock, the better at this point.
But I saw Fantasia in the theaters. I saw my parents used to take me to these drive-ins, right? And so their whole thing was, the first movie is usually something that's not too particularly risque. The second film, though, is usually when the rated R would be up, and my sister would just fall asleep.
Emmanuel or whatever.
You say that, but one, my favorite Emmanuel is Black Emmanuel. I remember from an early Emmanuel film that there was a theme song, and it was just groovy as fuck.
Oh yeah. They would play the same. They played the same shit, but it would talk about her, didn't it?
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Emmanuel.
I remember the same shit.
Emmanuel.
See,
Goodbye. Yeah, that was.
I never saw those shits in the theater.
No, well, I'm not saying I did.
I used to see them on cable.
On Skinamax.
And I would wait because, see, when I did have a parents, when I was lucky enough to be and have a roof over my head, we live in an apartment, but it's like everybody, like.
Did you have a cable box that when you that had a selector on it would go? Brrr,
yeah. Well, no, I didn't have that one. I had one. It was like a dial. It was like you turn the fucking thing. And HBO actually was H on there. It was just an H.
I do remember when HBO, Showtime, and Cinemax were actual labels.
This is even before. I know what you're talking about, where it's just a button and you press. Yeah. But this was even predate Cinemax. This was before. Yeah, I remember that shit. You felt you was going on a fucking experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we didn't have a lot of money. But my father, a great man, he was hooked up on the hoof. He had found a way to jerry rig, a way to watch the fucking every channel.
Bring the pleasure of cinema.
Oh, baby. And instead of having a babysitter or whatever, anything like that,
you had a manual?
Hey, I'll be back, watch some cable, and watch whatever the fuck I want at whatever age. So that's how I got to have my knowledge of cinema.
I knew what Emmanuel was by catching that late night, or even having it be on a tape of something that I recorded because I just, was just running.
Keep hunting, yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, what the hell is this?
And a tape for all you young kids out there. We used to use fucking VHS tape or Betamax.
Yeah, which means a very heavy shit. So
that's true.
And which you could end up with on your tape at some point in time. But I remember, so there was Laura Gemser, Black Emmanuel, who's actually, I don't think she's exactly black. I think she's Indonesian or Malaysian, something like that.
I don't remember.
But she's gorgeous.
I don't remember Black Emmanuel.
So I knew what an Emmanuel movie was. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals. I'm going to watch that shit. Yeah. I'm watching. I'm going, and I'm just sitting here and it's on the tape.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, this is hot. And of course, it's an Italian flick. So there's a lot of
dub in English.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of Vaseline on the lens, kind of soft lighting, all this stuff. And so I'm watching this, and there's some super hot chicks, and they're in the jungles, right? They're out there in the jungles and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh,
it get hot in the jungle there for these
women.
Women.
So they have to take their clothes off and all this. Here is this young war master with a boner.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, Emmanuel, this one has a couple different names, but what I saw the movie, it was referred to as what was it? Emmanuel and Africa, or Emmanuel and something more benign. They're actually in the Amazon, I believe.
Okay.
As far as I can remember. Anyways.
I wish I had known they were so close to where I was at. I would have visited the sack.
Well, I don't think you would have in this case because you're sitting there, you're like, oh shit, that's hot. And then people are getting torn to pieces and eaten and
in
mutilated.
In a fucking Emmanuel movie?
Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals is what it is. Yeah, so they combined the Emmanuel
Why they did that? That's macabre.
With the cannibal craze that was going in like the early 80s and late 70s, basically after Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust took off. This shit went
I only heard about Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know the other one.
I saw Cannibal Holocaust on 35 millimeter in a theater. And that was pretty funny because I said, hey, man, you got to come see. Invited my buddy. Let's go watch this thing. It's at midnight. It'll be crazy. It's a 35 print. It's one of the most banned movies in the whole world. He shows up with his brand new girlfriend at the time. Just thinking, this is going to be great.
Oh,
cool.
No.
Now she's going to be like rad. So that's your friend that says, hey, let's go watch this fucking garbage.
What the fuck is he thinking?
Well, it turns out she was a weirdo too. So
she enjoyed that one.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
I just remember being like, oh man.
Should have took her to see Emmanuel and the Cannibal.
Yeah, that would have been even better. Like, oh man, look at oh shit, he just bit her nipple off. That kind of thing.
Caralho.
So it's a real boner killer when
Those
people are
days-
getting mutilated and their guts eaten. When you're sitting there, you're like, I just wanted to see naked, sweaty chicks in the jungle.
That's a fucking bummer.
So my parents would say like, it'll be fine. By the time that Deal of the Century comes on, he won't be
Deal of the century.
he won't be awake to watch this. Or
Chevy Chase and Gregory Hines. Yeah, I remember that.
Just a little touch up. Hitting the car with a flamethrower.
I remember that shit.
And then there was the drone that was flying up in the air. The
Deal of the century.
Yes.
I
Or
remember
do you remember Eddie Murphy, Dudley Moore?
Yeah, that's the best defense. Yeah, I remember that. Of course. You kidding me? Who you dealing with here? But all those, God, I just the feeling of being like a young man, trying to staying up very late past everybody's.
Here's one.
Being asleep here.
Yeah,
go ahead.
This thing seemed to play on Showtime or HBO constantly at one point in the 80s. Chevy Chase, the
Modern Chimes?
No.
Okay.
I think he gets doused with radioactive.
That's it. Modern Chimes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Modern something. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna look it up here.
And it's got. I think. Does it have the gal that played? What was that sitcom with the big black lady who was?
Yeah, it had Nell Carter.
Nell Carter.
And she
was
played
in
the
it.
maid in this one too.
Right. And then he like snorts a bunch of voodoo dust.
Yeah. Hold on. Chevy Chase.
God, I've seen that movie so many goddamn times.
Yep. No, Modern Problems.
Modern Problems.
I'm sorry, Modern Chimes. I said I had the wrong. Yeah. Yep, I remember that shit. All those movies, imagine the effect that it had on you. You know what I'm saying? Back then.
Yeah, so basically this is why I'm the piece of shit that I am now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, all that stuff, basically, they instead of leaving me with a fucking babysitter or whatever, it was like, hey, he loved movies. They know I just stay glued to that fucking thing. But yeah, so these early films, so we're kind of getting a sense of what kind of early films will shape you and get you into them, having a love of the cinema.
Very much so. I respect the craft.
One of the great thing about being a kid, like a latchkey kid who is kind of like able to see all the shit and there's no restriction. That's great because you get to see a lot of shit other kids not allowed to see. But then sometime, on the flip side, you see a lot of shit that you wish you didn't saw. Okay? So it was very cool when you're watching Superfly with your dad and you say, what's that? And he said, oh, that's cocaine. And, oh, that guy's chasing that guy because he owing money. That's nice and everything. But then it's not so nice when your mom see, again, it's the babysitter thing. They don't want to fucking leave you with nobody. They don't want to pay nobody or whatever. So, hey, if I'm going to the art house theater to go see a movie, I'm going to take Lil Hanach. And we're going to go watch, while Hanach is 5 years old, we're going to go watch Eraserhead.
Oh.
And we're going to... We
going to make him think a lot of interesting things.
We think that's okay. So for most of my life, I have a irrational fear of the movie Eraserhead.
Of babies that have been split apart?
My man, let me tell you something. Nothing worse when you're 5 years old than Eraserhead.
Or El Topo.
It was very not only is it scary, but it's depressing. There was a sense of just sadness, loneliness, depression. Okay, so I was exposed to that kind of shit. And then also the other one that's freaked me out. You remember Pink Floyd, The Wall?
That was a weird...
Okay, so seeing that on cable...
All the people on the conveyor belt just falling into meat grinders?
It was children. It was during Brick in the Wall or whatever. And when I saw those kids that go, we don't need no education, and they're going down a conveyor belt, then you finally see... They're going down into a fucking meat grinder and they come out as sausage links there. For some reason, I don't know why, that image fucked me.
No way.
I just was like,
hey,
what?
You know what? Don't come around here no more. Music video fucked me up.
I don't know.
Okay, so it's Tom Petty and he's reenacting the Mad Hatter scene in Alice in Wonderland.
That's worse than the
Alice
kids
at one
getting
point
turned into
ends
sausage.
up being the cake, and they start cutting her apart and eating her.
I vaguely remember that.
Like, what the fuck?
I vaguely remember that there was.
And of course, there was all like raspberry filling or whatever inside, and the cake pieces, and they're just eating it, and she's like all panicky on her face. I'm going, what am I watching?
And kids is getting into, and then look how he turned out to be a person who fight a human cockfighting. So aside from that, any movie that you got exposed to when you was a kid that was a little intense, a little too much?
Interesting. It's like, Friday the 13th didn't do shit to me.
Yeah, none of that.
I was
That
like
shit
a
don't
huge
do shit.
fan, and
That was fun.
And, Nightmare on Elm Street I thought was super rad.
That stuff's a lot of fun. It's the
what
other
movie
shit
as a kid? That's a good question.
that left you,
You know what?
going,
There was this
"Goddamn."
weird movie that I just never knew what the fuck it was, but it had such a creepy tone to it, and rewatching it, it's not nearly as bad. It's so dark, and I was so used to being able to always see the monster for the most part at some point. And there was no real exposure with this. There's this movie called Behemoth it was a Canadian film, and
I don't know
it
this
ended
movie,
up
The
on
Behemoth.
it's not great. There's some weird rape scene in the middle of the movie, in the beginning of the movie, that it's just like, what? You just why? And then a guy gets eaten up by fucking Dobermans, and then she gives birth to some crazy hairy monster.
Now, see,
It's
this
just
sounds like the kind of shit that I would have not sat well with
this
me
is
when
the
I was
kind
a
of
little
thing
kid.
that's
too.
like it's also supported by the Canadian Film Board, because that's how Canada works.
Well, hey, and like the government paid for that shit
sure.
to be made.
And so then teens
I
end
like
up
that,
on
though.
some weird Pacific Northwest island, and they get murderlated by a fucking giant Sasquatchy beastie guy.
Well, this we should have been watching this shit.
Possibly. I think it's the Behemoth.
Tell the
something
people
like
I
that.
want to see that shit. Because now I
but
can.
you know the one thing
now
about,
I like that kind of shit.
It was so dark and kind of and strangely creepy in the environment itself. Plus, the opening credits for the movie are really fucking creepy. Although, here's the thing. Maybe let's say 13 years old or so. There's a movie, and it's not even rated R, and it's called Tourist Trap. And it stars the main Chuck Connors, the rifleman from way back in the day.
Oh, the rifleman.
Well, and he's also from a movie called 33 and a Half. It's some weird fucking film by an English director. I forget the name of it. Maybe even John Borman did it.
Well, he liked to do Zardoz, too.
He did like to do Zardoz and Point Blank and Excalibur.
Zardoz is another one.
Hey, John Borman's my motherfucker right there.
But Zardoz.
You'd be surprised what you could create with a lot of cocaine.
They created a lot of those movies.
Yes.
I'll tell you what.
So this movie, Tourist Trap, was about these kids that end up having to pull over or stop off or something on some road trip or something like that. I can't quite remember. But they end up trying to look around this town, this it looks like this ghost town thing, and there's no one around, but there's mannequins everywhere.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, no, it gets fucking weird. And, just the idea of all these creepy fucking mannequins acting with their own agency at times. And we're not talking stop motion stuff, but like weird, extreme close-ups and fisheye lenses.
Yeah,
and
see, that's the shit that scared me more than any kind of ghost or killer or any
that
shit
movie
like
did not
that.
sit right with me.
Yeah, it's this weird shit and the psychological crazy shit make you feel like you're crazy. That's what scared me, not the blood and guts.
What about how did you feel the first time you watched this classic piece of horror cinema? Wow. This genre defining element, Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, the Return of the Living Dead? Not Night of the Living Dead.
No, I mean that one
I
had
thought
an
it was
effect
funny.
too. But
we used to watch that and bug out. Like when I was a kid, Return of the Living Dead was a lot of fun.
I took it way too philosophically and existentially because there was no winning in that movie. You couldn't survive.
Yeah.
You were just fucked, and the zombies were fast. And
I don't remember them being all that fast.
No. I mean, the cops show up, right? So they call the cops, and these cars come, and just zombies. As soon as they come out of the car, zombies just swarm on them and tear them all to pieces.
But there was something
and then another
campy about that one.
There is campiness, and then the zombies grab the fucking call radio, and they're like, "Bring more cops," because they want to murderize
they
them.
want
brains.
Yeah.
But there was also this weird slightly humanizing element to the zombies too, to a degree, with like they capture the one, this like Strophus of a fucking zombie. He's all decayed and everything.
Oh yeah, and they keep him there. And he's alive.
The doctor is and the zombie speaks back to me.
Yeah.
He's like, it hurts. I'm in pain. I need brains killed.
Yeah.
It's like
because they tried to figure him out.
And then all you could really figure out is they're gonna fuck you up. And then Tarman, the fucking zombie that comes out of that barrel.
Oh, I thought you were talking about another fucking movie.
And all the other zombie movies, it's like, hey, nail them in the head and they're dead.
So they should disturb the fuck out of you.
Not this one.
I understand that kind of feeling because, you see, for me, it was never the zombie.
It's a good movie, though.
For me, yeah. For me, it was never the zombie that did this to me. But the shit that would fuck me up was stuff, even though I liked the movie a lot, but it was hard for me to watch because it make me it put thoughts in my head, was The Thing. And anything of that nature, when I was too young to see that, when things is nasty and they change and they squiggle down your throat and they do, or like, even though it was campy, Night of the Creeps.
Oh,
okay.
The slugs
like
space.
Jumping in your mouth.
Yeah.
Anything of that nature, or like, that movie Slither, like things like that.
Slither.
Well, that came out
That's the
way
snakes, right?
way later. No, it was more of like a thing kind of concept, like it mutate and
Slither.
almost
That
like
does
a
sound
disease.
very
It's
familiar.
disgusting.
I also remember there was a movie called Worms about these worms with teeth and stuff.
Shit like that.
How about Bug?
What? I never saw that. I heard about
the giant cockroaches that they would have
I'm
these
thinking
big
of
hissing
something else.
cockroaches on people, and they're all flashing and burning people.
See, that's
Bug.
not. I was thinking of a different one. What's that one with
You're thinking of the one with Jennifer Connelly, which is called Phenomena.
No. I'm thinking of the one with the guy who died recently, Bill Paxton, and he thinks Bugs is on him or some shit.
Bugs is on him. Well, I do remember,
I can't remember the movie anyway.
Frailty.
That's what I'm talking about.
But there were no bugs. That was all demons.
No, but he thought... No, I'm thinking of something else. Fuck it.
Do you remember Bill Paxton in Near Dark?
Yes. Yeah, Near Dark was cool. That was a very different kind of film. I remember the little kid. He was like a scumbag. But wait.
Dear to my heart.
But for me, it's like that gross shit, and I remember like the
so body horror.
The Fly.
Body horror.
Yeah, like the things mutate, you changing, you know.
Monsters having sex with women.
Well, that I don't mind.
So you're a big fan of like humanoids from the deep.
For some reason, it's just the stuff's like going into your mouth and into your body and changing your body chemistry.
Yeah, body horror.
So to switch the flavor then, can you remember a film in your life? I know that you're known to be the war mash and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can you think of a movie, or maybe one or two movie that really made you to get emotional and maybe to cry on the end at least?
Yes, one of them was AI.
No. Allen Iverson's story?
Yes, it's very emotional.
The true story of B.G.?
No, the story where you take Jude Law and you take Haley Joel Osment and you turn
AI
them into
did it for
androids.
You. Now, would this be the first time?
But here's why, though. It's very specific.
Wow, I want to know about this because I didn't have that experience in that movie.
Here's the thing. So it comes to spoilers ahead, by the way.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Spoiler alert. I'm glad you said that because I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
And don't tell me.
So there's a point where Haley Joel Osment's character, who is a android, it's living the Pinocchio
I guess
story.
I'm not gonna see. No, I'm kidding.
Who's living the Pinocchio story, basically, like how do I be a real boy kind of thing. They're searching and searching and searching. He wants to find his mom and his dad again, which I mean, not his true mom. They're not actually his mom and dad, but
it's Geppetto and the other guy.
The movie's main plot point, the hinge on it is that people that couldn't have kids, they could make you a fake ass fucking kid and give it to you. So you could be then reminded about how your womb is barren or how your sperm are dead.
If I was only so lucky, I would. If I could never have kids, if my sperms was dead. Oh wow!
You know what? Curse you, God, for giving me such potency.
Yeah,
huh?
it's true
that
potent.
Kind of thing.
It's true potent. And can you imagine the concept of paying extra money to have a fucking Hobart kid to fucking have to have hanging around?
I could not. It sounds like a terrible predicament.
Unbelievable. But anyway, sorry. The Cheers, because that's where the Cheers would have came in.
Right.
For me, the Waterworks is gonna start where I see that. But
so in any case, this character is on this whole arc throughout the movie, and you get to the third act, and at some point, Haley Joel Osment's character, as a fucking android with AI, becomes so nihilistic and depressed that it tries to commit suicide by dropping forward into the water to drown itself. But of course, it doesn't breathe, so it does. I'm just like, wow, how existentially through with trying to exist do you have to be that an android fucking. Like, wow. And I cried. I'm like, that's sad as fuck.
That's like, because you thought of it on a heavy level, like on a very...
I also get teary at, like, the big battle things in Lord of the Rings. Like, they're all going towards their glory and their honor, and they're going to die with their brothers.
That gets you?
Yeah.
That didn't happen to me in those particular movie, but if I see, like, you ever seen the movie Glory?
Yes.
When that music start playing, when they start walking.
You start blubbering?
Well, okay, you know the part where they finally gonna let the black dudes, the black guys to fight,
Uh-huh.
And then they've been through all that shit or whatever, and they had that guy, that sergeant who was like, "You bloody Hindus!" Remember he called you fucking Mexican Indian whores or whatever he called them, all kind of shit. Remember they didn't want him to fight, and they was putting those guys through hell, whipping them and everything.
Yeah.
But then finally it got to the point where they were like, "Yo, we're gonna let these African American gentlemen
go forward and get shot with muskets."
Yeah, but
here, how would you like a black powder ball driven into your body? Sounds great. I feel like I'm a free man.
Exactly. So they gave them some cornbread, and they was playing the fucking harmonica the night before and doing all kind of playing ham-bone and talking about Negro spirituals and stuff. But that's not the part that made me to get watery. The part that get me about that movie is that when they going through the other regiment and they walking through, the guys who before was not cool with them and everything, they looked at them in their uniform, then they saw them with the guns and stuff like that, and then one guy go, "Give them hell, 54," or for the troop or whatever, and then the rest of the white guys give them like and they get the camaraderie, and then the fucking music start to swell up, Oh, caralho. And then you start to...
that Hans Zimmer starts kicking in?
Is that who? Yeah, somebody.
I don't know who it was.
No, it's another guy. Fuck.
Basil Polidorus.
It might... No, that's that Conan. It might be Hans Zimmer. It's one of those fucking guys that does everything.
John Williams, probably.
It's not John Williams. I know that much because it's not him. He's the main guy, but...
the dude from Oingo Boingo.
He's the other one, but no, it wouldn't be
Danny
for that
Elfman.
one. It's
Have
not
you
Danny
ever seen The Forbidden Zone?
No.
The Oingo Boingo movie?
No.
It's worth watching.
Okay, I respect. I never was a big
It's
Oingo
a weird
Boingo
fucking
guy,
movie, but
Danny Elfman is is to be
Hervé
respected.
Villechaize is in it.
No, what does he have to do with that?
He's the king of the land of the land of Oingo Boingo.
Is that
or the Forbidden?
correct?
He's the king of the Forbidden.
Is that
Zone.
why they got that movie, that name, Oingo Boingo?
Well, the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo.
Man, that's true, man.
Well, in any case, I know what you're talking about with Glory.
Yeah, so when
you got Matthew Broderick there with his 13-year-old mustache.
Yeah, exact. That peach fuzz.
Yeah,
and you got Denzel. You got Morgan Freeman and the other black guy from Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Is Yaphet Kotto in that movie?
He's not, but I wish he was because I like that guy. But you know what I'm saying? You get that feeling like, and when they're going in, they get the music and everything.
It's the camaraderie of battle.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you're
we're gonna
all in
die
it together.
We're gonna die together for something.
Blood together.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, I'm like, fucking Gloria. I mean, that movie doesn't turn out right. We lose.
True, but the fact that you're like, fuck it.
You're gonna leave that one alone. All right, cool.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Thank you.
I just. Because I was getting choked up.
He's so getting into the moment. He's like,
yeah.
Oh.
I just caught that. That's well, the white man wins again, huh? Look at you. You're winning now, though, huh? You're glad. You got everything going for you.
I know.
Now.
I've got this half-drank beer.
The white man is rising again.
I'm here in this studio right now.
Yeah. Look how good I treat the white man here.
I appreciate your charity.
I feel like the Native American during the first Thanksgivings. I give you everything I had, and you stabbed me in the fucking back. Oh, well.
I'll make sure the knife's clean.
Yeah, thank you. So now let's take a quick break, and when we return, we're gonna get into some movie review with none other than Josh Barnett. We'll be back. Now is the time in the program where it's gonna be like Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, or even Ebert and Hopper if you're a little younger,
or the guy with the afro,
Gene Shalit.
Gene Shalit.
Yeah, that's more you speed. It's like we have two Gene Shalit, maybe more so than Siskel and
a two-headed Gene Shalit.
A two-headed Gene Shalit. So what I did here is I had, me and Josh Barnett, we've seen a lot of these cult films. We've seen a lot of the crazy shit as you heard early in the podcast.
Arguably art films,
These are
high cinema.
Films. This is cinema verite. This is a lot of this stuff is what is it the what you call it the Vanguard, not the Vanguard, the Arch. What is it the Arch?
The Arch.
When it's forward,
When it's forward, the arch is forward.
God, no, not in the sexual, not a tantric kind of thing. Fuck, what's it called? Like in Germany in the 1920s, it's like the avant-garde.
Oh, avant-garde.
Yeah.
I thought I'm like Germany, the Weimar Republic,
no,
or
not
Third
that.
Reich. I mean, where are you going
No,
with this?
you always want to bring to the Third Reich and to the Confederacy.
Look at me.
What, Colonel Sanders?
Dude, look at me with this fucking blonde and blue eyes.
You do.
and-
You look like you would.
Yeah.
You would look like who if to get to Hitler, you have to get through you.
I'm the final boss. to
Yeah,
Hitler.
you're like his goon, his main goon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like where Hitler goes, before you deal with me,
You have Wolfgang.
yeah, Wolfgang, yeah, and try on Wolfgang. Maybe he's more your speed. Maybe Wolfgang is more your speed.
I
But
kill him, my Aryan specimen.
you create you in a lab.
That's actually really funny because that's what that's what Rampage used to call me at
The Master Hayes,
no,
the War
he
Master
called me
Hayes.
a super soldier.
What
Because
kinda you are?
we had this whole thing about it was training camp for Matt Linlin, and I was
that's
training
old school.
to fight. So he's fighting WFA. I had to fight in Pride.
He looked like he could be one of those Aryan brother.
Rampage.
No, Rampage. Linlin. But
What?
but but in prison. You know what I mean? Like
prison.
not in the
Ouch.
hike. He would be in part of the ABers or whatever. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I maybe
Like
so.
where he tried to give you some ramen noodles and you think he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, and then
But
he
he's
come
just
back
trying
to
to
collect.
pull you over.
Yeah, he's trying to get you in debt. He give you a cup of noodle.
Well, I mean, who could not be drawn into insane amounts of racism? I've offered ramen noodles, but that's how the Axis was created.
Yeah.
But the Japanese
was
came
Dutch-
over and they said, "Oh, most humble." sumimasen."
Well, wait. Maybe that's why it's like that because the Master Hayes like chop, the ramen, it's the best ramen.
Chop ramen.
It's the best ramen more than the other one. It's the white ramen. That's why the noodles was white instead of buckwheat, like in soba.
You know what? You may be onto something. But we were at training camp, and Rampage is like, "Oh, I cannot wait for you to have to run because I know you hate running. You don't ever run for your conditioning. You always do other stuff, and I can't wait to kick your ass at running the whole time." I'm like, well, you can have that victory. And I fucking put that on the wall. And so we get up there, and I beat him in every single run we ever had. And we're doing an uphill run this one time. I dropped my iPod, like it felt like I was on one of those as seen on TV commercials because I was so inept at just doing anything basic. It's like I forgot how to fucking breathe at some point. And I dropped my iPod, I don't know, like 4 times in a row. Just fumble fingers, McDumb shit. And we're doing this uphill run of like 3 miles, and we're in Big Bear. Mayhem Miller's there, and
God, what
Savant
a motley
Young
fucking crew.
Yeah, it was a really interesting
Savant
group.
Young?
Yeah, Savant Young, Lunchbox, all these guys. So I started
who are the poor women? Hopefully there was no women associated with this trip.
Zero.
Can you imagine?
Do you really think any women would want to be anywhere
But can you
near
imagine
us?
like that crew? Oh, God. Well, never mind.
I at least had my own room, thankfully.
Oh.
But it was just covered in dirty Kleenex.
Ugh.
But
yeah, can you imagine the amount of jerking off going in separately in these homes at night? Ugh, with these desperate human beings.
just the smell of burnt hair in the air and
burnt hair, the dirty geese and hash squad
and pancake batter.
Ugh.
So in any case, so on the uphill run, I pass Rampage right away, and he gives me this look of disgust.
This chain
and a little bit of resolve, or not resolve, but he's resolved himself into like, fuck it, fine, you got ahead of me, I don't give a shit, fuck you, bye. And so, and then eventually I passed everybody, got to the top before everyone. I was up there.
That's a dubious distinction that you passed Mayhem.
He was the last guy that I had to get past. He was in the lead. You know, Mayhem was actually really athletic. And then we lined up on this football field this one time. We're doing 50s, and Rampage looks at me and he goes, and he just got this grin on his face, like, yeah, I got you now, motherfucker. Fuck you. And I look at him like, all right, he has no fucking clue. I look down the line to the right, and there's one of his training partners that he brought up there, this kid named Brandon, who was just crazy, super strong. But he's one of those dudes, one of those brothers that had those high, tiny calves. And I looked at him. I was like
someone we know, like the Warhawk.
And, like him. And I looked down the line. I'm like, fuck, that guy.
Yeah, you can't. You're not gonna beat that guy.
Yeah. So in any case, and I used to run track and whatever. So
he'll out-hunt you in Stacey Adams.
Pretty much.
You know?
Yeah. In fucking loafers.
Yeah. He'll have a short set on wearing loafers and no socks and beat you.
Pretty much. And so, boom, we take off. I whoop Rampage's ass in the sprints. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I'm ahead of everyone but Brandon. And at one point, Mayhem's like, it's running behind you sucks because we go through this wet patch in the field, and you're just throwing like mud and water and shit all over my face as I'm trying to run. I'm like, well, I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose to Rampage. And at some point, he's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, you're fast, fuck you. And he's just like, whatever, I'm just gonna run my own run. And the whole time, I'm just looking down like, I beat Brandon maybe twice, maybe 3 times. I figure.
And which Brandon is this? What's the guy's name?
I wish I could remember Brandon's last name. He never really ended up fighting pro or anything like that. He just fought amateur. But really, really great guy. Super fucking cool kid.
Super fast, super skinny legs.
He was just he was also one of those guys that was really physically strong, a good athlete, and it's just a great mindset towards doing all this training. It was a really great camp anyways altogether, as we both won our fights, me and Rampage. But yeah, just being up there. And at some point I get done, and we're all sitting at lunch or whatever, and Rampage just looks at me and he's like, look at you, fuck you, Hitler super soldier. And I'm like, I don't know if I can be okay with that. That's a pretty fucked up thing to call me. I mean, it'd be one thing if I was black, then it'd be like, all right, cool, that's funny. Yeah. That's so.
Hey, Rampage.
Yeah,
Rampage got
unlikely
a
thing
style.
to say something to someone, and they're like, look at me, I'm all blonde haired and blue eyed and all this.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
He thought maybe you'd take it as a compliment, boy.
Well, in any case, he thought that was sheer funny. Anyway,
he sure did. Well, he's got there's only one Rampage out there, huh?
He is a crack up. Yeah, we have a lot of in-jokes. I love Rampage. Hey, if you're out there, Paige, you hear me, man. I love you, man. Even though you called me a Nazi, essentially.
Yeah, but he only did that because he loved you. We only hurt the one we love.
Sure.
The white people in our life. But anyway, speaking of black people, there's more than a few black people
there are
in the 3. So let me get back to the subject here. I said, let me find some shits that maybe both of us didn't saw. We can watch these one separately, and then we can came together and discuss. I decided to pick 3 movies that I didn't saw, but I was very interested in. Shall we start with? I feel like maybe we start with Killing Machines, Death Machines.
Death Machine.
I'm sorry, Death Machines. Shall we?
Yeah, why not? It is a classic from 1976, I believe, by the prolific Paul Kiriazi.
Sound like maybe he's Greek
or an Ashkenazi Jew, probably.
That settles it.
Kiriazi. I don't know what that is, actually. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if
For
too
all
many
you
Kiriazis at all.
Look, for all you Ashkenazi, all the Laranjinians out there that's either Ashkenazi Jew or Orthodox Greek, tell us
how we
which
fucked
one.
it up and we got it all wrong.
I want you to hide into the program, hide into my Twitter, and my Instagram is Renato_Laranja, or on Josh Barnett.
At Josh L. Barnett.
Josh L. It's the L. If only you could have left out that L.
If only I could have.
I'll tell you what, when I was first looking for you, I fucking couldn't find you.
There is a Josh Barnett, but
that's
he's
what I'm saying.
English.
But that's what I'm saying. The L fucked me up.
He's a lot
You're probably
more,
missing out on about half the people who would you would have.
Probably.
So,
But
that's
that other Josh Barnett gets all kinds of horrible things levied at him on a regular basis. Being me is a difficult job.
Have you seen the fucking guy?
John Jones?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But he's funny.
He's
clever. He's a
smart
he follows
guy.
me. You know what, John Jones, shout out.
Yeah, you gotta for my fan out there and for you Josh Barnett fan out there, follow John Jones. Is he just John Jones?
Just John Jones.
Just follow John Jones on Twitter. And is he on Instagram?
I don't know.
But either way, follow on Twitter, and it's good. It's a fucking guy who's just like this single. Is he gay? No, he's just a single man that's like a cat lover. He has like cats. He's just like a cat guy. And
sounds like a swell individual.
And he get all the fucking
He's
hatred.
a computer guy.
Yeah, he get all the hatred
John
and all
Jones
shit
hatred
from John
for
Jones
John
fans.
Jones, yeah.
And he comments on the shit because he actually have the John Jones what you call the name, I don't know, the handle or whatever. So let's get back to Death Machines.
Death Machines. Well, basically, to begin with, this movie has a fucking amazing opening intro, which is about a movie that I wish I could watch.
That's the exact same feeling that I had when I saw the opening to this movie. It's like the opening is so good. Well, not so much the opening; it's the title credits.
The title credits.
And it's animated, and it's like,
and it's got this fucking synth soundtrack that runs through this whole movie that elevates it to a barely tolerable level.
It deserves better. Like the elements of the soundtrack. The element of the soundtrack and the fucking these graphic, not graphic, it's like these animation.
You're right.
Animation in the beginning, it reminds you of like, it looked like
an
something.
Obelisk that opens up into a big giant pile of spikes with crazy fucking faces mounted on it.
Yeah,
I want that movie.
It reminds you of something that would be like a cross between something from some kind of heavy metal album mixed with like, you remember the movie Heavy Metal?
Fantastic Planet?
Yes.
The French one?
Yes, the French movie, fantastic. Yeah, you know what? God, the fact that you said that. It's amazing. And then you get into this fucking movie and you go, what the fuck is going on?
Starts right off with 3 different guys. Actually, it starts off with 6 different guys. 2 Asian guys fighting each other, 2 black guys fighting each other, and 2 white guys fighting each other.
They have to keep it like that. Because you got to find the best of each race.
I suppose so.
Wouldn't that be how you do it?
You
you tell me a better way, Josh Barnett.
I'm probably not the right guy to ask about that, I guess. But nonetheless, the Asian Death Machine, as he will be known, because he doesn't have any other type of name at all, he murders his guy with a sword, I believe, and he becomes the 3-pronged nunchucks or whatever. Oh, right, yeah.
Or no, his assailant had that. Fuck, I can't remember. The only thing I remember, if I might digest for 1 second, is that he looked like Hickey the Dragon Steamboat.
Kind of. He was the only assassin of these 3 that looked like he seriously lifted weights.
He looked like he could have a career. He was a good-looking young man.
He actually did 19 films.
Are you for
The
real?
rest of them did
Zero.
Probably almost.
Look, he looked like Hickey the Dragon Steamboat to the point where I thought it was him for a second.
Well, I bet you were excited, weren't you?
I was. I said, God, I never knew that Hickey.
Who knows when
Why didn't he
Ric
have a
Flair
career?
will show up. Then you have the Black Death Machine, who kills the other potential Black Death Machine.
Who looked
with
like he
a
out of
spear.
shape.
Yeah, that
He looked
guy
like
is-
Tracy Morgan.
Sure. Then you've got the White Death Machine, who gets the most character development out of this, possibly because he's also the producer.
No.
Yes.
See, I didn't know that.
He's one of the producers.
Well, see, you
And,
have now. This
in
is
and
why you
amongst
bring
all
a Josh
this-
Barnett.
This martial arts mastery and wizardry and this mortal combat between these masters of these ancient Eastern arts. And you know that they're masters because they all have really worn and tattered black belts on their gi pants while they're doing all this. The White Death Machine starts getting beaten, and the other guy pulls a fucking big ass knife. So what's he do? He picks his leg up, grabs a small little Saturday Night Special, little shitty like 25 ACP,
Like how a bitch would carry in her purse or whatever. Yeah.
and shoots the other one.
Yeah.
Like why the
He
fuck do you
just
fight
capped
him?
that guy. Yeah.
All this.
But that's how you get to be one of the death machine.
True. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
You've
how you
always-
can tell that he deserved to win.
because he carries a gun on him and uses it at
At all costs,
Yes.
he's gonna win.
all under the
The watchful eye, the eagle
of I'm a
of
I don't
mistress.
know. Well,
whatever the fuck her name is.
don't remember what her name is, but she had a
can't
massive
remember.
hair,
Like a
or
big
massive
beehive,
wig,
like almost like a beehive
yes.
hairdo.
You could easily hold like a small assortment of children within it,
Or
And at
a
the
weapon. She
or
could
a
have
weapon.
She could have shuriken in there.
or a Gatling gun with the size of that fucking thing.
Anything in there.
Painted on eyebrows and some accent that seemed like a combination from having a stroke at one point and being drunk.
And Ethel Merman.
And some other,
she's some-
English is like your third language.
Yeah, like it's fucked up the way she sounds. And she have like a small mouth. And at one point when she smile, you know how she have like a shit-eating grin when
She had a lot of unnecessary blinking and nodding at times.
blinking, nodding, but also a shit-eating grin where she's trying to look extra confident when she's negotiating with that other fucking guy, with the hitman guy, the other guy.
Oh, the classic generic Italian mobster.
Who we gonna get to, but she give a smile at one point, and you know what he remind me of? She looked like P. Diddy. You know how Puffy Combe do that smile, and he have like a small little mouth, and he remind me of that, or that young hooky Mitchell, Devin Mitchell, some shit from the Utah Jazz. But anyway, I'm getting off onto something now.
Well, I mean, she did say that these three men will form the nucleus of the most deadly group of assassins the world has ever known. Well, by the way, the only language that is ever uttered by any of these three is some sort of a pained, wailing screech.
Oh, you mean when he gets shot? When he gets shot in
when
the
he gets
fucking
shot
head?
in the head.
In
By
the
the
side
way,
of the
that
head?
doesn't kill him.
Nah. Well, come on now. Oh yeah. Should we give them a spoiler alert? Listen, this whole views of these fucking movies is a spoiler alert. So if you're gonna get spoiled by this, then shame on you.
Well, the Asian Death Machine can best be described as through this wonderful website called Something Awful Reviews. As well, his nickname is the Asian Guy. His martial arts ability is passable. His special move is slowly swinging a sword in a circle. His turn-ons are cutting off heads, which he does do twice, maybe once.
Probably once.
Turn-offs are having to talk, although note this is purely theoretical. The Black Death Machine is his nickname being the Black Guy. His martial arts ability is slightly better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. His special move is seducing Asian women, which I don't know if that's really what that scene amounted to, where he's just sitting in her room after she tried to slap him for apparently failing at a mission, to which he grabs her hand and gives her this, "You ain't fucking slapping me, bitch," kind of look, but with obviously no dialogue.
Nah.
And then ends up in a room later, and she's just like, "Wow."
But they have like incense.
And the guy, of course, just stares at her blankly in the corner, to which she just says some other unintelligible shit, and then puts a candle out with her hand the room is dark, and then cut next scene. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to suggest.
You gotta go to the next scene, because the viewer gotta interpret that one.
Well, I'm glad
when you go
that
to
I
the
didn't
museum,
see
the
any
painter
attempt to see them fuck. So
if you go to the Guggenheim, Jacques Cousteau's not gonna be there to interpret his fucking paintings for you or whatever.
Then you have the White Death Machine, whose nickname is the White Guy, and whose martial arts ability is saw kung fu on TV a few times.
Oh.
His special moves is pulling a gun during a fist fight.
This is very true.
I wish all my fights could be handled so easily. His turn-ons are free food offered by Christians in a scene that makes zero fucking sense.
Yeah, fuck.
Turn-offs are being shot in the head and screaming. He's not really a big fan of that. Ends up with him in the police office at some point, to which he sort of slumps forward, has a grimace on his face, and then, as any knowledgeable police officer would do, "Oh, what's wrong with him? He looks like he's sick. I'll take his cuffs off."
Yeah, let me check his cuffs off so he can fucking hunt through the whole police.
And beat the shit out of every single person in the goddamn police.
And some of the most glorious. If he didn't know karate or whatever that viewer said, I didn't know it because boy, did he fucked up. And he kicked the police captain, the black police captain, so hard in the breadbasket that this fucking guy is hiding in pain for about 30 minutes.
As this motherfucker lays on the ground passing a fucking kidney stone, he keeps looking up.
Like he can't believe what just happened to him.
Oh.
And, I mean, I'm telling you what, I was watching this shit like late at night, like falling asleep on the couch, and I was like laughing out loud with the veins in my neck is coming out by myself. Like that's how fucking stupid. I mean, how good the goddamn fight scene was.
And so
it was delightful.
This whole movie, so they have these three guys. So the stereotypical Italian mobster has a couple hits put out on a few different individuals, and so the death machines, as their last test, just go to intercept the assassins. So the assassins are killing the assassins, some sort of a meta movie in there, I suppose. So one of the assassins up, and he's tracking the Chinese guy who runs the karate studio, which is actually a drug front. I don't really know how that fucking works out, but
I like how it's a studio too.
A studio.
I like to call it karate studio. I like
karate
that.
Studio.
They got to bring that back. Enough about the academy and the school and the gym.
So he follows the guy. He puts a target on him. And then right before he's about to pull the trigger, the death machines show up because they're obviously fucking psychic as well. And they just beat his ass and then throw him off the bridge.
They just throw that motherfucker off the fucking building. And then, wait, you remember what happened?
Blam! Yeah. While he's getting a ticket for parking.
But then he break his back on the fucking on the car.
Hood.
And then as a delayed reaction, then he goes, and they cough up a bunch of blood like after the fact. Oh, I like that shit.
My favorite being the next guy is in the middle of some park where he just pulls up on the grass in a fucking 76 Corvette Stingray.
Oh, yeah, it's like a white one.
Yes.
No? Yeah.
And he just rolls out with a rifle, the same rifle from the previous scene, wrapped in a blanket.
Oh, for sure, it's the same rifle.
And
they're not buying two rifle for them.
As he's
movie.
watching some guy who's supposedly some banker that this mobster once killed, jogging around park benches and random fucking chain link fences in a park right in the middle of some residential zone in Stockton, California, where this is filmed.
Oh, I forgot that.
And the guy's just sitting there, and out of nowhere puts a fucking corncob pipe in his mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
this guy's just sitting here in community theater going, "This is gonna really give my character some depth." So he's sitting there with his rifle down, and he waits for what must seem like an eternity for this other fucking guy he's gonna kill.
Wait, did you say he put the thing down on the car?
Oh yeah, he puts the blanket on the car. You don't want to scratch up that fucking Corvette that they rented for the day. Or they fucking drove off the lot on a test run like, we'll be right back. And he's sitting there holding this rifle so awkward that you can tell this man has never held a gun in his life. And all the time, this weird teal-colored fucking old Jag, this like 70s J-type that rolls up in the background.
About 5 feet behind the fucking guy.
And the death machines crawl out, pop the trunk, and of course they're going to pull out some tools of the trade at which to assassinate the assassin.
Yeah.
And what do you think they would be the most useful, most the weapon to go to.
The most economical choice.
Well, normally I would say just go kung fu his ass, or maybe a silenced rifle or something like
Piano
that.
wire,
something,
break
right?
the neck, or whatever.
Bow and arrow.
Anything.
Well, that apparently is not the tool of choice. They pull out a fucking bazooka.
Yeah.
And blow the guy up.
Wow. They blow up the ground beneath his feet, and some dirt and some dust come up, and
So this is
they blow him onto the hood of that car. You notice they didn't blow up. They blew up that other Cessna, but they didn't blow up. They didn't blow up the car.
No, not the car.
They blew up the ground around the fucking thing.
They shot him with an M80.
Unbelievable.
This is why you don't play with fireworks, kids.
Unfucking believable.
So throughout that, then they go and it turns out that the whole reason behind all these assassinations is that this dragon lady, her intent is to kill all the other assassin guilds out there, which only seems to be comprised of two fucking shitty guys.
But also the guy who's like their agent or whatever.
Oh, right. Their agent in the...
It's as if their agent is Broadway Danny Hose. And he's like, he gets on the phone and he's like, these guys are ruining my business here. I'm not going to get my business.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, on a payphone.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
To which he then gets hit by a bulldozer.
Yeah,
because
driven by the white guy, by white machine.
Right, hard to get out of the way of a oncoming bulldozer. But he does scream and put his hands up in front of him.
This is true.
So the dragon lady sits the Italian mobster guy down, who doesn't bring his chauffeur that picks him up after his Cessna drops him off. Because he's like, yeah, surely there's not going to be anybody that has it out for me after they just murdered my two hitmen that I hired, and. So they go their separate ways for two individual plot points that are actually tend to be related in the end. And the lady is sitting there saying like, "Oh, we will have an example of." It's like you've already killed two people. So the guy is here. He flew his fucking Cessna to come hang out with you and parked it on a dirt field. So. At some point, the driver ends up in the most stereotypically piece of shit Italian restaurant you've ever seen, where this guy comes up and harangues him.
The worst.
In the worst fake
tell
Italian
them about the Italian restaurant. It's like, out of Central Cast, checkered, tablecloth and fake grapes and, wine with the fucking, what's that shit around, like a twine or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just everything, every fucking cliche.
And he just rolls up, drops off this giant plate of what looks like ketchup covered spaghetti.
It looked like hamburger help, like stroganoff, like
and then
bullshit.
Proceeds to just fucking punish the ever living shit out of this guy.
Telling him how good the fucking pasta. Tell him how good the pasta is.
Mamma mia! I make you a nicest plate of spaghetti. Oh, this is my favorite. And he won't.
And doing the accent, by the way, this guy's clearly not like this, and he's doing a fucking accent, like the worst Italian accent you ever heard.
It's the way that I make it, and this is like the way the real Mario. Spaghetti. You should like it. Tell me how good it tastes when you have my spaghetti, because I know you like my spaghetti. This real giant run-on sentence of a fucking acting gig. And eventually the guy is like, yeah. He's like, and he just sits over him while he waits for him to eat this fucking spaghetti. And the guy, oh, it's good.
Yeah, and just to tell him to get the fuck out of here.
Basically, and then the guy pisses off after he shoves some of these fucking al dente into his face. And then only to find some red fucking Buddha statue in his spaghetti.
Which is not a good sign.
Which I'm just, really curious as to which death machine snuck that in there. Which death machine is also.
No, you know who does it? You know who takes care of that?
Who's that?
Remember the stooge, the goon of the fucking dragon lady. He's the one who delivers.
Chinese guy with the suspect
He's the one
mustache?
who always deliver the Buddha first.
Sure.
And then they
Why didn't he just kill all these people then?
Who the fuck knows?
So anyways, the guy's like, what the fuck is this Buddha doing in my spaghetti? And then another guy, the white death machine, just fucking drives a fucking pickup truck into the restaurant.
So did you notice something about that? What I started to understand, because I started to see those lights in the background, and the hiding was on the wall about what the fuck was going to go down here. So I started to understand, my goodness, this is not a fucking restaurant. this is simply a set. Like,
Yes.
I mean, you can just see that this is a piece of shit set that they just set up so they could just throw a car.
Hey, 70 grand in Stockton isn't going to get you a
through
lot
the
for a
fucking
movie.
thing. And my goodness, this restaurant, I mean, it looked like in Boogie Night, like when he goes like, when she goes, I've been all around town waiting to go to this restaurant, that part, and then she's like, I heard it's very good, and he's like, it's not good, it's excellent. It's probably the best place in all of Los Angeles.
Well, don't forget that this is from the crew that brought you Omega Cop and Ninja Busters.
See, I need to fuck with that. I never seen either of those movies.
But smashing a pickup truck through the fucking fake ass set in the window there doesn't kill the driver of this fucking Italian mob boss guy. So then he goes running outside to find Asian Death Machine swinging a sword slowly in a circle. So anyways, then they cut off this guy's head, stick it in a basket at some point, then deliver it to Italian mob boss guy. And now he's pissed off, like, oh fuck, he killed my driver, so he just shoots the waiter.
Yeah, a quid pro quo or whatever.
Yeah,
like
you killed my driver, I killed your waiter. I keep things equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
everything
things
should be. That's
is the Asian lady, the way she talk.
And apparently that's how you start a contract. And the death machines go out there to then storm the Chinese-run karate studio, to which the guy just walks into the middle of the fucking screen. There's just random people sitting around in a circle, and he's just like, does this Buddha belongs to anyone? I found it in front of my office.
You know what? You viewers out there, you listeners, don't worry that you're confused right now. Just fucking hold with the punches.
Does this Buddha belongs to anyone? As he's holding one of these red Buddhas, and his response to no one copping to it is, perhaps I'll keep it then.
Because they didn't know what else to hide. They didn't know what else. Just say that.
So then he just basically randomly stares at a couple guys. They get up and proceed to beat the shit out of each other with stabs for his amusement, as much as I could tell.
And there's like a kid with like a ginger-haired gentleman who's in there. One of the students, like a yellow belt.
There's this blonde guy.
No, not that's our guy.
Oh,
but I'm saying there was one kid in there that must have been some student of somebody.
Oh, and he's just like,
because no one would have cast this fucking kid, aside from the fact that he's good with the staff or whatever. Because porra, this kid looked like the kid Malachi from Children to the Corn.
It's like, well, who the fuck brought this junior high kid in here? How much longer do we have him before we have to send him back to homeroom? And when is his mom picking him up? And so there's this blonde random guy that has had no introduction to this point. He's just a part of this martial arts class in apparently a martial arts studio that doubles as a drug den, a drug front.
Which that shit used to go down. There's a whole... Anyway, we'll get into that.
Sure enough. Time. And so he's looking, not paying attention because he sees something off in the distance. And what is it? But our 3 death machines.
Outside of the fire escape.
And they come charging through windows.
For no reason. They just... instead of open the fucking... Let's just break through the fucking window.
Why not just come through the front door in the first place? And then, this is great. There are swords mounted on the wall, on the walls above like doorways and shit like that, because this is a martial arts studio, so there's just random weapons all throughout the place. So what happens? What almost seems inexhaustible number of students starts panicking and running as these guys come charging through the windows instead of fighting.
Well, it's a lot of white belt. If you notice, a lot of the people in there is white belt, yellow belt, green belt.
Probably only belts that they can get a hold of for the most part.
And the ones who want to get involved.
The death machines proceed to then kill almost all these guys with their own fucking swords that are mounted on the walls.
Just cutting them, spearing them in every possible
Here comes
fashion.
The sensei, the Sifu, the Chinese karate guy. He gets his sword, and he's getting ready to fight him. He swing, and then swings it right into a fucking electrical outlet.
Oh, yeah.
What the...
Well, that was.
So no one kicks his ass but himself.
Well, but I think that was a parable of like, don't sell coke out of your karate studio.
With your Chinese broadsword.
Gonna get electrified. This is also the scene where we meet one of our most pivotal character in the fucking movie.
This is true.
Which is a fair-haired white boy who is also a fucking yellow belt, who is tried to fight these guys, and who I can't remember which color death machine did this, but who was in the middle of the action, chop off this fucking kid's arm.
Good question. Yeah, I think it was
Chinese Asian death machine.
Asian death machine chopped off his hand.
Yeah. No offense, Johan. Come on.
And I've seen this movie twice now, and yet I really don't know what. He's not much of a catalyst for anything.
I don't understand. See, this is where I don't understand, because I kind of understand the structure of how movies are supposed to go, and you know how you go with you develop the characters or what the fuck people do in these movies. This fucking kid. You know when you see a movie and you have a guy who's trying to overcome an obstacle, you hoot for the guy because he's trying. You know, he's suffering. This fucking kid spent half the movie after he got his arm chopped off, like he's in the hospital, he covering, and every fucking other word out of this kid's mouth is like, well, I guess I got my fucking arm chopped off now.
Well, yeah,
I'm the freak now. I guess there's nothing left for me. The fucking guy, all he does the rest of the movie is bellyache about how his fucking arm got chopped off and nobody, he can't do the shit he used to do. So it makes you want not like the guy. You're not sympathetic to the guy anymore.
And this girl comes up and tries to see him at the second hospital he was transferred to, because of course there's an attempt of a hit on him because he saw the death machine.
Yeah.
And the white death machine.
Yeah,
shows
no
up.
witnesses. No witnesses.
Actually, all the death machines. They're this fucking. It's like this Looney Tunes skit where they roll him up to this door with a cop in front of it, and one guy's under a sheet. And then eventually he sits up like the Undertaker and backfists the cop out of the way, and they run in there, stab an empty bed. And then try to run off. The other two ones are like, peace the fuck out. Whereas the white one stands there and gets shot, gets up, gets shot, gets up. I fucking get shot. Then he gets shot in the head and goes, and just starts.
Because he never expected that. That's the one thing they never accounted for, is that one day maybe somebody's going to shoot you in the head. Which is funny, but another thing about that is they act like the technology at that time was like, bulletproof vest just came out or something. Because then when one of the black cop gets asked about it, he goes, they tell him that the guys have bulletproof vests.
Sure.
And the guy goes, the partner of the fucking cop, head cop that looked like Barney Miller.
Yes.
The black guy goes, armored vest? Man, these guys are heavy. Like that was what, not that they killed the whole karate studio, all this shit. The fact that they got a hold of armored vest was like,
that's next
level. It was
level.
as if he said they had plutonium. You know what I mean? It was like, man, these cats are heavy blood.
So this fucking pathetic yellow belt of a guy, he's basically just like, you don't know how it is for me. He whines pathetically to a woman who works in a hospital and sees people that are a million times worse off than him every day. I think that the nurse must have peeked down his gown and liked what she saw, because she refuses to give up on Frank. Why would you even want to try? Frank asks. I don't know, the nurse replies. Maybe by the time I get used to you, you'll be used to yourself. Maybe she has a condition where she mistakes pitiful pathos for raw animal sexuality. And so here we develop some sort of a love story element that really doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, he gets his ass. He gets his ass kicked by like an old fucking fisherman at a bar.
Yeah.
And then, but because
he old fisherman at a bar in Stockton.
Yeah. And then because who trashed the fucking place after he's done. I mean,
like,
this fucking
beer.
Movie, fucking movie, and the bitch dancing and the jukebox, all the. I mean, look, you see the movie, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But just flow with us, go with where we you're here with us right now. Don't even ask too many questions. But then after she sees he can get the shit kicked out of him by like a 59-year-old man, then they immediately cut to like a love scene with him fucking her in some motel home, and then he's cold and distant afterwards. He's like, all right, well, okay, well, she goes, well, where do we go from here? And he's kind of like, well, I don't know, you back to the hospital or whatever for you. Like he's just, and then another thing about this guy is like in the ways that they use to hide the fact that he don't really have a chopped off arm.
Is he just like when he's in the bed, a mannequin hand?
When he's in the bed, it's like so cheap. The way their way of doing it was just pulling the sheet just up to his
elbow,
his bicep or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just pull it there and like, his hand is gone. And then later they just signify it, like when he's depressed in the karate studio, hitting the bag with one fist. The other hand, the arm is just fine, but he put a winter glove on the fucking thing.
But not all the way on it,
Yeah,
so you can't.
just a
so
winter
you can see
glove.
this sort of dangling around.
I mean, listen, this is no Citizen Kane that we're dealing with here. You know, this is death machines. So after having said this and heard your synopsis of the film, give me your take. If you was to hate this movie for the fans, you fans in particular, what you gonna give this?
Well, I don't hate it.
No. To give it like a stars or a thumbs ups or
whatever.
Oh,
I thought the star was,
Of course, you like white Death Machine, but I'm talking about for if you're gonna recommend, if you're gonna give it a thumbs ups or a thumbs downs.
I would give it a double-bladed battle axe for sure.
Out of what? So you're giving it 1? So it's a piece of shit?
No, I mean, you've got a small knife, you got a mace,
okay, so
long
on that
sword,
scale,
and then battle
so
axe.
it's a heavy hitter.
Yeah,
that this movie is a winner.
The synth soundtrack alone is worth it, as it comes blaring into your face, completely and utterly disrupting your cerebral cortex.
Beautiful. Well, I'm gonna give to my fans for my London Genius, I'm gonna give this one 4.5 negative DNA chest for You Are Not the Father.
Oh,
chest for not child support.
That's
so that's 4.5 of those ones.
Rating, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my dog is being possessed by the spirit from the next movie that.
AKA The Devil's Express.
My dog here is having a dreams about this stuff. She don't even care about what we're talking about.
But you know what she does care about?
What?
Warhawk, Tanzania.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we're getting into the heel stuff. Now we're getting to like the actors that come once in a generation. You had Laurence Olivier, you had Marlon Brando, you had these guys that came, the James Dean or whatever. But in the genre that we're talking about, there was a guy. It was like a flash. He didn't last it for a long time.
Bright.
He burned too bright.
Shown too strongly, too
soon.
It was a star,
yeah,
but it wasn't meant to stay.
But he gave us one performance for the ages, and that was in a movie which it's got 2 names. One in some circles is known as The Devil's Express, and in some it's also called Gang Wars. Okay, depending on who the fuck was whatever trailer you're watching.
Distributing it, maybe.
Yeah, and it's the distributor. I don't know. I can't figure this shit out sometime. But I will tell you.
Trains barely have anything to do with this movie, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Express, they took a lot of creative license onto this movie, but Warhawk Tanzania is an African-American gentleman.
He sort of started the tall, gangly, bird-like black martial arts man genre.
Which is ironic that he's so tall because the look of the man is harking back to a very young Prince, when he had his first album called For You, when he had an afro. So he kind of, or if you ever seen Prince in his later years when he did one album have an afro, this man looked like a tall version of that, almost to a chi. The same facial.
I could easily see Prince wearing bright yellow velour jumpsuit as well.
Yeah.
Or not jumpsuit.
Overalls. This fucking guy, he looked like a young Prince Hodges Nelson. He happened to be
he's like a low-rent Shogun of Harlem.
That's another way to look at the guy. And boy, what does this movie not have? I mean,
it's got.
Where do we start?
It's got kung fu.
Where do we start, Josh Barnett?
200 BC.
We start 200 BC. Okay, we got what? What do we got? We got a bunch of monks who kill each other, commit suicide, a la Jim Jones massacre.
Yeah. An amulet.
Yeah, we have an amulet. We have So then we go boom, smash cut. Okay, so then to do a mass suicide, it's 200 BC, which it looked like more like it's
a park, down the road.
A park. It looked like they in fucking Van Cortlandt Park in fucking the Bronx. And then where we at? We smash cut.
Now we're in the dojo.
We in New York
or studio.
Yeah.
What is it? Because he is Sifu to his underling Rodan.
His Puerto Rican sidekick is named Hodan.
There's an Imperial Japanese flag on the wall.
And like two brothers in the background doing fucking Goju katas or whatever.
Or at least whatever they thought a kata should look like.
Well, and here's the thing. I think what it was is these guys was karate guys, but because the fad at the time in the movies was kung fu, they wanted to throw in like that they doing kung fu and shit. But you can see that the style and shit that they doing is like a lot of cat stance and you know, karate looking stuffs.
I love it when he does that spastic ostrich style kind of thing.
Well,
and he comes at him like he's doing the funky chicken.
You put in the cart before the horse because we didn't even got to that shit yet. But
I'm just saying this motherfucker got some martial arts.
He do have some. So what you're watching is you're watching a movie that make you feel like you're almost in like one of these old movie about, you know, what you're watching West Side Story. You're watching the Asphalt Jungle. No, what Hoots? You're watching Hoots. You're watching what's the movie? The Education of Sonny Carson. You're watching Coolie High, whatever you're watching. You're seeing how these black people and these Puerto Rican is interact with each other, you know, and they call the other Chinese people and stuffs. A lot of time they're using the C word or whatever. They call these guys
chums.
They call them chink. They call them faggot. All that. They're using a lot of colorful language from the streets.
Yeah. I would say colorful would be a way to describe it.
And you got Italian cops
with not much real abandon. Complete and utter
with
abandon.
Reckless abandon.
Yeah.
And so basically, then out of nowhere, you got a situation.
They end up going to Hong Kong.
Yeah, you got a situation where they gotta go to Hong Kong to get like another stripe on the black belt or something. You know, they got to do a task. I don't understand. But they're going to Hong Kong, which was once again, it's like, you know,
it's like that the was local 200 park. BC.
You could almost see the
this
public,
was after they
the public
told...
pool in the background, a bunch of Puerto Rican and Haitians swimming around.
Well,
in there.
This is also after that they their cop friend, after maybe 5 seconds of doing who the fuck knows, they tell him, hey, honky pig, don't try to recruit me to the cops or I'll fucking make it
ice
stick.
You, motherfucker. I'll ice you, blood.
So I'll murder you for trying
look, it was a different time. It was a simpler time. It was a simpler
very
time,
simple.
Josh Barnett. So, look, long story short, they go to fucking Hong Kong to do a black belt test. And this ne'er-do-well sidekick of this guy, while the other fucking black guy, Afro, is trying to meditate. This guy going to find the ancient burial ground where we was in the beginning of the movie with these fucking guys.
Amulet.
He's a grave hobber.
Yeah.
He's hobbed the grave of these old guys.
A grave hobber.
Yeah. And then so they go back, you know, he smuggled this fucking thing back to the States.
And what's the name of the gang he's a part of? Oh,
the
they're
Black
all a part
Spades.
of. Are they all?
They're part of the Black Spades.
Is the Sifu a Black Spade too?
I don't know, but
I mean, not if you're trying to say racist shit.
I think he's trying to give these kids a better life. You know, he's in their life like a mentor. You know how like a cop is like have you at the PAL
Who
basketball.
named it the Black Spades?
That's a Hill gang from back then.
Really?
One of the main ones.
Was that supposed to be ironic or something?
No, I think it was supposed to be like, hey, this is the Black Spade. Hey, for all we know, those fucking kids was in the Black Spades. I mean, that's not unusual to do that back then.
That's true. Actually, Escape from the Bronx, 1999, or 1999 Escape from the Bronx.
Yeah.
They, Enzo Castellari actually had some real... Hell's Angels on motorcycles,
all that kind of shit.
Some extras,
all that, and the education of Sonny Carson.
They tormented the actual lead.
I would not fucking doubt it. But another thing, like the education of Sonny Carson, I wouldn't even call it a blaxploitation movie. It was trying to do a movie about the youth gangs and stuff, and people know a lot of it because a lot of it. If you're a Wu-Chang fan, Ghostface Killer used a lot of the things in his first album as interstitial material. What's some of the quote where he's like, you know, let me get mine first, then after that y'all could do what y'all want to do, you know, that kind of stuff. And then what does he say to the you know, the one where the kid goes, I got a message from Smokey.
Most of the kids in the movie are actual,
they all Hill gang members and shit. Yeah. And then he said, I put trademarks around your fucking eye, you know, that part. Anyway, so anyway, there's a lot of movies where they try to get that heel flavor.
All right, so maybe I did not know that there was an actual gang called the Black Spades. I just thought
Black Spades,
like
and that's
a bunch of dudes sitting in the back being like,
Well, Africa Bambaataa was one of the Black Spade.
Africa Bambaataa was a Black Spade,
and then he and some other guys from that created Zulu Nation. So a lot of Zulu Nation was former Black Spade guys and shit. But that's old hip hop history shit. And
I did not know.
well, now you know. If you don't know, now you know.
Well, that's how they found the perfect beat.
You know, okay, so you know a little more than we thought. And then the Planet Hawk and all that shit,
All
and Jazzy
that.
Sensation.
Right.
Let's you know, we could, the list go on and on. Anyway, so now you have a situation where now you have this fucking zombie, goblin, demon, whatever the fuck is the guy.
Stumbling around New York.
Wearing,
No one sees him.
but also instead of having like contacts to make his eyes just whites of his eyes, he have like, it looked like they either put golf ball, like not golf ball, ping pong
balls,
like cut in half,
ping pong ball.
or I think maybe they painted. I don't know.
I
what the
think you're
fuck
right
they
about
did.
the ping pong ball.
It looked terrible.
And this guy's just wandering around, covered
shambling around the Lower East Side.
Like fucking athlete's foot on his face. Yeah. He's just stomping around Soho, just running into shit, and no one pays any attention.
Then he go down to the subway because this fucking guy he can't be exposed to light.
So yeah, he ends up in this guy ends up in the subway, and then just randomly
he turned into his true form and turned into like a shitty looking mummy.
Skeleton face guy.
A Skeletor mommy. I think Skeletor was based on that guy.
Well, and then that part of the movie, which seems to be a completely different movie altogether, it doesn't seem to come back into play very much at all. And then you've got Rodan running around with Ghidorah or whomever else he's got, starting shit, apparently.
Oh, trying to buy some cocaine.
And then getting jacked by some Filipinos.
Yeah.
That he calls Chinese. I can tell they're Filipino from their accent.
Yeah, because they sound like Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. Give the cocaine to us. It's just like, what the fuck? And
you have to get what cocaine.
Well, how about how they sampled the cocaine for like 5 minutes straight?
Yeah.
Like,
you watch these fucking guys. That lead me to believe that they used heel cocaine on the fucking actors are sitting there like fucking Gavon over there, shoving their fingers in it and rubbing it into their gums. But like, you know how in the movies they do like a little bit every once in a while, like just a taste. These fucking guys can't stop doing it. They like, and you're like, God, are you?
It's not fucking Sensodyne. God damn, keep your fucking quit finger fucking the product. Yeah. So, anyways, that goes on. Where is Tomahawk Jenkins? I mean,
hey, you might as well be. That's a good
Warhawk.
Warhawk, Tanzania. He's busy fucking that woman in his studio apartment.
Yeah, after his big montage.
Yeah,
walking around, but he just is nowhere to be found for most of the movie. Also,
and then he have a collection of he have like a tapestry on his wall on the brick wall of weaves of black women. He's
got this 70s tapestry on the behind his bed where his headboard should be, and it just basically looks like a display of all the weaves of the women he's laid before this one.
It looked like you remember in the movie Big League. You remember when Willie Mays Hayes put up each glove of like for the base he stole?
Yeah, these are weaves.
It basically is like that, but weaves. Or it's a piece of African art. Either one. I don't know.
Macrame.
Yeah, something like that. Mac though with a CK. Like Mac. Hame. Anyway, a lot of crazy shit happened. A lot of fight scenes. A lot of great outfits. A lot of stuff where the audio fell out, and instead of dubbing, they just didn't. Adam saying anything. I mean, you got a lot of shit to look forward to in this movie. Okay.
Watching guys run around, play basketball, just random ass
and then
shit.
fight guys on the basketball court. A lot of great old school graffiti you're gonna see in this movie. A lot
broken
of broken glass. A lot of artsy fartsy shit. And then it all culminate in a
Honky Pig basically coming to the karate kung fu master Sifu and saying, hey, Rodan got killed, so he goes and chases down his yellow adversaries. He might actually,
as he would say, that's not a Barnett call.
And proceeds to beat the shit out of all of them to then.
But in devastating style and using some Eric Paulson. This is the first evidence of catch hustling we've seen in an action sequence.
Debatable, yeah.
What
when the
is
boss
the move
of
he
the
did?
Chinese
What is the move
Tong?
he did when what movie is that?
Bloodsport 4.
It's like a knee bar, huh?
Bloodsport 4.
No, but when he go boom.
I don't know what the fuck that was. It is above my pay grade.
But what is that? When if you was to take the foot is here, almost like a I don't know. It was like some kind of chokehold. It was a ham sandwich, a Hebrews ham sandwich.
Usually, yeah.
And
it was a Turkish delight with a Persian helicopter on the end of it.
But anyway, I love what I saw. And then he fucked the guy up and put his knee in the guy's into the guy's sternum.
Yeah,
and
knee
then,
ride.
And then
belly.
And then there's a long time he have that. And then he says, "Look, you know, this guy was just trying to you stole his cocaine and then you killed the man or whatever, you know." But then he got the information from the guy. He takes the fucking guy over to the Egg Shen of the movie. For you guys who've seen Big Trouble in Little
Chinese
China.
master.
Like he would be the Yoda, the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And you're thinking, what is this? This Yoda dude must be a real piece of shit too, because he's got a gang of apparently Chinese
ne'er-do-well
immigrants that sell drugs and fuck you up and steal your drugs.
And one guy have a fucking afro. I never seen a Chinese guy with a fucking afro.
That was impressive. That was a really fucking sexy
a heel afro.
Although, doesn't he get his throat stomped on?
Yeah, he got his trachea stomp on, his Adam's apple, and then blood come out like that. like in the Beatnuts lyric, he said, "Then slice your Adam's apple, kiwi, strawberry, snapple." Anyway, so now this all lead us to the whole reason. This is a long-winded way of saying that it end up in the old Chinese guy who's maybe a white guy and wearing some terrible Chinese makeup.
It looks like they you know what? What would make a Chinese master in your eyes? If he looked like he had severe psoriasis,
Down syndrome,
Bell's palsy,
Down syndrome with a touch of shingles, like you said.
Yeah.
And he heavy cheeks, he's puffed out cheeks like Gary Coleman. And so
he melds his spirit with Tanzania.
Yeah, you can't overthink that part.
And then he just, hey, honky pig. And it's, well, okay, looks like them there slant-eyed whatevers didn't kill my brother. So we got to take care of that devil. What it be?
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes down. And then, so anyway, we have a harrowing fist fight, karate fight / acid trip, whatever that goes down in the fucking
the subway
in
tunnel.
The bowels of the New York Interrapid Transit system. And the fight that goes down, he's wearing overalls made of velour, and he's getting to one of the best fight sequences I've seen in a long time.
There are parts of it that I would only be able to describe as multi-dimensional,
sobering.
It's
but
hard to know exactly what's going on at certain points in that, and to say, you know, the acting chops that it took to be able to pretend to get beat up by an invisible assailant.
Warhawk Tanzania was definitely doing some Meisner stuffs in that part. And, you know, I can't
wait for him to write us a fucking angry tweet.
Well, I doubt that he'd be hiding us an angry tweet, because we blowing this fucking thing up. I'm not going to be surprised if this movie doesn't have a resurgence after this, and maybe even a remake, maybe starring, you know, I don't know. They would probably put The Hawk as him. They would put him in every fucking thing.
The Rock could easily pull off a good
Warhawk.
10.
God, can you imagine him in that jumpsuit, in the fucking overalls, the fucking velour overall? And the Stacey Adams or whatever the fuck he's wearing, those Hoach stompers. But anyway, so, and it all culminate in a finishing move out of all the demons and the zombies and the Chinese magic and Puerto Ricans and playing stickball with kids and fucking black women and all this shit that happened. The whole thing to end this whole shit with the demon mummy guy or whatever is he put him in a fucking camel clutch, and he bring his chin up like that and put his fucking knee through his back.
Catch wrestling, yeah.
Boom. And you know, to bring it all full circle, I'm kind of getting emotional. You know, you asked me what got emotional.
Yeah.
The fact that this all tie into me having one of the guys on catch wrestling and one of the guys who should be on the fucking, as far as I'm concerned, the Mount Rushmore of mixed martial art, Vale Tudo. The fact that we're going to end it on a note where that black guy who's looked like Prince mixed with the
Dr. J.
Dr. J, and also Ike Turner. The fact that he was used that, and it's almost feel like it's what synchronicity. What are they called? Serendipity,
Both
kismet,
serendipity, synchro.
all that. And I feel like the fact we could share that movie. And if you had never met me, you probably wouldn't have spent your whole the last 3 days wasting your time or spending your time
Enlightening your broadening your horizons in terms of cinema.
Yeah, you was watch that stuff, and I couldn't have got a lot of people wouldn't have, if I said to them, listen, watch these fucking movies
exchange.
I told you.
I feel like it was a fair exchange, and we won't even get into One Down, Two to Go, because it fucking sucks. It's got the worst. It started off with all that karate montage stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, I can get into this, and then it seems like they got guys to get in the ring. Oh, by the way, why was everyone who fought each other black?
Well, you know what I think it was? It was produced by Fred Williamson.
Yes.
And then it was like, it had every black human being. It had Fred Williams. And then I have to apologize. I hadn't seen this movie because I wanted us to came to it with a fresh perspective, and I wanted us to see it for the first time. But I didn't know it was a fucking jive turkey of a movie. And it had all the element of being a winner. And I saw the trailer. I thought it was gonna be fantastic. It have fucking
karate in the 70s.
It have karate in the 70s. It have black guys. It have Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, Fred Williamson, Richard Houndtree.
Yes.
From fucking Shaft. Okay, a soundtrack by original score by fucking Stanley Clarke, and doing a jazz fusion funk adult contemporary soundtrack. Look, it had all the element to be a winner, and this movie turned out to be a fucking turkey.
It's amazing that
this is a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and for me, that one is get 5 child support, late child support payment.
This one gets a dagger with a broken point. Because
I feel you.
The music soundtrack is pretty good, and there are some quite absurd moments in there where you're just going, what the fuck am I watching? But most of it is just an utter drag.
It's garbage.
Waste your time.
I do not recommend you waste your time on that one. I can vouch for. In closing, I can vouch for Death Machines.
And you know what? With old Tanzania, I give that one a crossed morning stars.
I give it crossed morning after pills for avoiding child support before I get started. And on that note,
send a Chinese demon after him.
Caralho. I some Chinese boner pill, ginseng hoot.
Yohimbe. Horny goat.
What
weed.
was the one they gave to in the Golden Child? He said it's good for the yang or whatever.
Or you're just gonna wipe your booger on your sleeve like that. You just let it freeze. Who cares?
What's the one that bitch come up and say you want to try something? Like she goes,
Good for your yang.
Johannes.
Yeah, I don't know. A rhino dick. I can't quite.
Okay, but anyway, we could go off on, as you can see, look, some of this shit probably delight and mystify you. Some of it probably confuse the shit out of you.
Then you're in the same boat as us.
Yeah, and you know how we feel now. Okay, but hopefully you just took a trip into the history of cinema, the silver screen, and you finally getting a taste of what it's like to hang out with us and watch some interesting film. What a night, what a night that we spent together. And for those of you who watch this instead of the Oscar, give yourself a hand. And
I didn't come out here wearing my orange velour overalls
corduroy
for nothing.
Yeah. So you got anything to promote, my brother, before we say goodbye?
Access TV every Friday night at 8 p.m. Myself and Jim Ross call all the action for New Japan Pro Wrestling. In my opinion, the best wrestling product in the world.
If you don't say so yourself.
And I do. But we also have a live show in Long Beach at the Walter Pyramid in March. In fact, the whole show did sell out in approximately 10 minutes.
Well, so now what's the point of telling these guys? They can't even go to see that.
So we can rub it in, basically.
Oh, so maybe they can wait for you and get a glimpse of you walking out the pyramid?
Yeah, pretty much. But March 25th at the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. Strong Beach.
Can they fuck with you afterwards? Like, if there's an after party or something?
Hey, if you want to roll up and give me whiskey and blowjobs, I'm always
that's not a bad idea. They can see you at the Beefsteak Charlie's.
Yeah,
afterward.
And at the Ha-Ha's and
the
Laugh Factory.
Oh no,
and
you bring it.
And Palm Desert Junction,
shout out to
Ohio.
Shout out to Adam Hunter.
Yes, and from MMA hosted
from the MMA hosted podcast out homie. There. Wherever you are, whatever backwoods sawdust joint you out there.
Eating your blue apron,
doing comedy, eating
with your creepy salmon,
making you recipes out there, and making ends to meet.
But you can find me on social media at Josh L. Barnett on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm also on that fucking Vero thing, but who knows? You can't seem to post anything on it, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm hearing about that from a lot of people. Are you on Vero? I don't even know what the fuck that is. But for me and Juhan and Josh Barnett, good night, everybody out there, and ciao.